Hello there, Outlands. It is Debiri. I just ran through a challenge run with the Knights Guild. It was our Knights Errant quest, where we sort of build up a character without support, and I did it on the ocean with a fisherman. And so in that particular example, I wasn't using the new player dungeon to raise skills. I wasn't taking any handouts from established characters. And I was actually set up so that I was only using, in that case, crew and upgrades that I found. So it was a pretty tricky run. But even then, by the end, he was making really good money. So I figured this might actually be, if you take away some of those self-imposed limitations, it might be a pretty valid, lucrative new player strategy, or certainly a new boater strategy if you have a little bit of investment fund. But even a new player that's sort of just landing in the world, I think they could make pretty decent money doing this. So I figured I'd put together a video of how I would tackle that. I'll probably run through the first dozen or so hours of gameplay with this character so that I can get some kind of footage and just verify that it does work as I think it will work. And I'll talk through a little bit about what we're going to do here. So the plan is that we'll basically get enough resources to sort of have a small boat crafted and then have 100K or so to spare. You could do this in a few hours of lumberjacking. You could sell one board commodity for 110K or so, and then just save 200 boards for yourself, and then you could real quick just whip up a miner to get the 250 ingots, and then I think it's 250 cloth as well, which you can buy pretty easily. You could do that in a lot of ways. You could scavenge dungeons. You could donate $10 to the server, and then that'll be about the scale of resources that we're looking to invest here. So we're going to sail around, we're going to hit fishing spots, and we're going to sell the special fishing nets and whatever else we get. So the reason this works is you may hear horror stories about the ocean, and it's often not that bad. Sometimes it's that bad, but your small boat in this case will be super fast and stealthy. So even without any upgrades and sort of running it naked, you should be pretty elusive. The other side of that is without any upgrades, it costs almost nothing to recover it. But before you have crew on, it will cost literally nothing. You can just get your boat back. So all you would be losing is what you're carrying from that run. So it's not that you have to, like a big boat, pay a big doubloon salvage fee. Special fishing nets are why this is so lucrative. They are sort of the beginning of an end game sort of ocean treasure mapping system called Message in Bottles. The people that buy them are late game boaters, and they have deep pockets. I will say that they'll generally prefer buying bulk, hundreds at a time. But if you come through and say, hey, I've got 25 special nets, I'm a new player, I bet they'll go pretty quick. So our goal here will be, once we have kind of trained up our skills in Shelter Dungeon, minimally equipped a boat with a couple lightweight crew and probably no upgrades, we'll be shooting to do 15 plus special nets per hour, and I think we could probably do even more than that. If each net sells for about 9K, you get some gold, some doubloons, delectable ingredients, which are actually pretty in demand, the occasional core. I think we can target 150K plus gold per hour on this this build within the first handful of hours of landing on the server. So this is just, maybe if somebody wants to take a screenshot, the plan that I outlined for myself on how I'm gonna tackle this. I think I'm gonna grab these handful of skills. You want, for example, chivalry, so you get the chivalry book. I think some stuff like alchemy and parry I might eventually drop later, but before you have like the chivalry heals via raising those levels, it's nice to have a little bit more durability. I'll do I'll simulate the new player quest for a rune tome and a horse. And then I'll probably run through this shopping list sort of live in the video, and we'll take a look at all the things that I'm buying. I think pretty much in Outlands, if you have the materials, it's easy to find someone to craft the things for you because, for example, folks are often looking for artisan experience. So crafting with your materials is valuable for you, and it's valuable for them. If you need someone to craft stuff, I'm happy to craft stuff with my crafter. So we'll get a tailor to craft us a couple bone armor suits and some fishing nets. We'll get a tinker to craft us spyglasses. We'll get a carpenter to craft us a small boat. We'll throw a couple lightweight crew from the portal on there, and then we will go out and start hitting fishing spots. This is roughly the shopping list that I'm envisioning. So I think the way I'll set up my character is I'll probably give him a check for 100k, and then I'll give him the resources for a boat, and that'll sort of be his starting point. I'll probably throw a rune tome in his bank and a horse in his stable that he can grab once he has done the prerequisite amount of farming and just the little fetch quest for the horse. I'm gonna do air aspect in this case, and I'm gonna buy the kit. Keep in mind, if you are new, you will get a free aspect starter kit after, I want to say it's 50 or 75k of farming. I think air could be a good one. When I did this other run, the challenge run, I did water, and that was a really good one. It's inexpensive and it's useful on the water. And then I think earth could be a good one as well. So with air, I'm optimistic that we'll get that extra swing speed early, and we'll be able to maybe kill the ocean monsters that pop up when we're throwing our nets a little bit easier. I'm gonna grab a couple cheap crew. I'll probably do 2 carpenters because I tell you what, on this last run, termites were the bane of my existence. When a termite pops up, your small unequipped boat is in danger. So yeah, a couple carpenters might be nice there. So that's the plan. We'll see how this goes. I will also share the scripts that I'm going to use behind the scenes. I think I might set out to buy some things. I'm going to renounce my young player status here. Alright, let's go to Prev and may as well actually pick up our horse quest. Alright, and that's good enough for me. I might just grab a harpoon and a suit of bone armor for right now to get going. Okay, so we got a suit of armor, we got a harpoon. That's probably enough to go off fighting. Alright, just getting on for the evening. I think let's do some shopping. Buy some aspect, buy some potions, and then probably buy some supplies so that we can get armor and nets and that sort of stuff crafted. Alright, so we got our crew, we got our supplies, we're going to have our crafter come in, craft some stuff with our materials. This would be where I would just go to the services channel if I didn't have a crafter of my own, and we'll be set up. I think this tune is ready to hit the water now. We don't have any doubloons, so we will be starting out without the crew, but we can register the small boat for free. So we got our potions. Let's bring a few nets. About 3 nets and 4 spyglasses for this first run. Oh, we need some repair kits too. Let's bring a lot of those because we might be in dire straits here. Okay, so now we're going to pop over to shelter, register our boat for free, and get ready to go sailing. Register the ship for free. Here's the boat that Ilya had by the end. He had 2 crew, no upgrades, and he was doing alright. So we're going to add this boat. Gotta give it a name. Orion's Mission. Alright, so we got our boat. We're waiting on our boat launch timer anyway, so I will take this opportunity to grab a couple scripts. Without further ado, I think we're ready to set sail. We're probably what? Figure I simulated, call it 2 or 3 hours of lumberjacking, and then playtime was probably 2 or 3 hours of doing all the shelter stuff and getting our shopping done. I think we're about ready to go. So Orion's mission is hitting the water, and we are hopping aboard. Alright, target our ship hold. I should have had my backpack open. Let's do this for now. I did have my backpack open. Okay, let's reset those variables. Alright, so we want the ship hold. This bag. We'll throw it in there. And that's where we'll dump our loot. We got fishing spots west and northeast. I would say I'm not going to call myself a new player for the purposes of this. So I'm going to leave shelter for the new players and go out sailing. This one I'll take. Alright, sea serpent. Let's pull off a little bit. I don't think we're quite ready to tackle multiples at the time. So we're just making sure all our scripts are going and it's hitting heal potions and whatnot. That would make for some spicy times. There's a nice proc, we'll take that. So let's try to throw the net because the thing's kind of close there. Alright, we will take that. So this special fishing net is what we are going for. That sells for 9k, 10k. Just sold a bunch for 15k doubloons each, which is like 12k gold, so I'll definitely take that. So at some point here I'll break down what all of these scripts are doing. Maybe I'll cut to this southwest, northwest. Where are we going? No, I'm not going to go there. I think we're going to get out of the shelter area here. Can't be too cautious with all the GG around with those. Nice. Another serpent. We'll take that. Not a bad start. 2 nets is decent money. 20K right there. Alright, so 4 nets is, you know, just shy of 40K. A bunch of delectable ingredients. I want to actually go put some of this in the bank. Maybe throw a couple crew on this. Boom, couple crew on our boat. So I think we should be good if we leave our in-room without recalling. I think we're good to launch at outpost. All right, we're coming into a dock here at Winter Harbor. We've been out for 52, 53 minutes. We got 4, 9, 10, 12, 16, 18 nets. That is not a shabby outing considering our skills and lack of harvest aspect and all the rest. Alright, so let's do some organizing and see how we fared here. I did cap out my 110 fishing, so that's less than 2 hours from 100 to 110. I think from here I would probably continue investing in fishing scrolls and skill orbs to get this to 720 and this to 120. If I were really enjoying this as a new player, I'd consider unlocking harvest aspect. My hunch is, I've not cashed in on it, but my hunch is, yeah, I don't know when this was tracking, but yeah, we definitely would have earned our free, 3-pack of aspects. So maybe harvest is one of those if you're having a good time. I would probably pop up a vendor to start selling off some of this stuff like research materials and plant chemicals and scrolls and maps and that sort of stuff. 19, 21, 27, 29. All right, so that's 29. So from those 2 less than hour runs, we averaged 14 and a half. I mean, let's call it 15 an hour because neither of those runs were a full hour. We're still ticking on this one. We have a couple more minutes that we could have maybe got another net. Anyway, let's call it 15 nets an hour. 45K of delectable ingredients. $15K, so let's call it 400K over less than 2 hours of boating. And I'm happy to litigate those prices with anyone that wants to come at me. I think the long and the short of it is we've been probably playing this character for 10 hours. We have very early stage fishing codex. We got 2 ticks in skewer. We got 8 points in our healer's codex. We got 2 ticks in bulwark. We're not at 120 fishing, but we would have the means to get there. What else? We just capped out our tier 2 air aspect. So we're doing, I'm going to call that 200K plus an hour as a brand new player. And so he's also a 10th of the way to Glorious Lord as well. And for folks that may not know, you can't lose fame on the ocean. So if you want to just blast out Glorious Lord, go fishing for a while and you'll, even if you sink, you won't lose the fame and you'll slowly accumulate it. It might not be that everyone can do that. There are certainly fishing routes that are more or less productive. I will say probably steer clear of the Southern Ocean. It just seems pretty barren from a fishing net perspective, but if you're kind of hugging the coast and going in and out of the nooks and that sort of stuff, just keep an eye out for grays and keep cruising around. I didn't sink at all. I've still got my spell stones here from the new player setup. I just found some more delectable ingredients. So yeah, I'll call that 200K an hour as a new player. I hope that was valuable. Thanks for watching.